Definition of high value male, go for it.
Based on 4 pillars. Pillar number 1, financial success. The second, someone who's well-groomed. Third, someone who's verifiable. And then networked. Those are the 4 criteria.
My problems with it particularly are a few things. One of them is what determines a high value man is all of the things that you've labeled, none of them are characteristics.
Like qualities, soft qualities?
Qualities, honesty, ambitious, hardworking, determined.
Because in order to rise to the ranks of, let's say, a Fortune 500 company, in order to consistently make $100,000 a year plus.
There's capacity. That's one level for men that they do need to have. And then there's also characteristics. And those characteristics are going to be far better, especially when it comes to mate selection, because you could take a very successful, well-networked, but he could be about as masculine as a raccoon.
Put that man on a dating app and put a man who has honesty and integrity, but not a great job, not making a lot of money, not in shape. Who's going to get more matches? Who has more leverage? Who has more bargaining power in the dating market? It is the first, not the latter.
What you're talking about isn't so much a dating market, more than it's a distortion of a dating market. Because if it was a dating market, people would be having children, getting married, engaging in long-term relationships. No, what you're describing is short-term usage of other human beings through platforms that make people think they're high value when really they're just insecure and deeply capable.
At these brothers. Man, first thing I want to say is, man, I just realized the other day, let me cut my ring off, brothers. I just realized the other day, man, if I don't fire this camera up, but if I go 1 or 2 days without firing this camera up, I be missing y'all brothers. I just realized that the other day, man. I said, man, it's been 2 days since I made a video. I miss the fellowship with my brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? I love us in the comment section bouncing ideas off or sharing stories. I love that shit, man. It's like the bomb, right? Today's video, brothers, is brought to you by my T. Jones, man. For y'all that's not from the South, my mom's. For y'all on Instagram, it's brought to you by AKA at Mama Soul. For y'all not on social media, it's brought to you by Rose. It's her middle name, right? And a few days ago, man, my moms were talking. We were talking about just, me and life and business or whatever. She said, hey, she said, I see that the women on your channel are like the numbers are growing. I see there's more engagement with the women, right? I said, yeah, it kind of just happened. It went from like 3 or 4% to like 12% to like almost 20%, like in a matter of. So she said, make sure you're speaking to the women. Like, I understand your audience is men. Don't change your message. But every once in a while, drop a gem to the sisters. So again, today's video is brought to you by Queen Rose. And what I want to talk about is why modern women get ran through. Why modern women get ran through. How copy? And I want to talk about this because, I'm new to TikTok. I've been on TikTok maybe a year, and I see, and for some reason on TikTok, what's different than all the other platforms, I'm always seeing a lot of women on TikTok crying. The man did this. He swore he was going to be this. He swore to me XYZ. And it's like, man, that's the trend. I don't even be looking for this stuff. So I want to help y'all sisters out, man, to understand why today's modern women are so easily ran through. Like, there's a slight difference in the way it is now compared to like the conversations if there was a social media, 25, 30, 55 years ago. Women may have complaints about men moving a certain way or coming home late or might be doing, but they wouldn't have the same conversation as women have today. And it's because a lot of it is because men have observed over the years, and men have come to the point where we can manipulate hypergamy if we choose to. Like it's so easy to see now that a man can run game on a woman, on today's modern women, because we understand hypergamy, and we can kind of go in there and bypass the software to make a woman move a certain way if we like to. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And a lot of it comes from. Let me say this first, because a lot of guys get this confused. If you want to look at a woman in a sour way, or look at her like she's negative, or she's less than, or she's no good, only because she wants a man with money. She wants a man with status. She wants a man with connections. She wants some. If you look at a woman and say, "Oh, well, she's bad because she wants a man like that," you're wrong, bro. Because that's part of her. That's part of the way she's built. She's built to desire a man that's moving in a certain way. But what a lot of women, or where a lot of women are dropping the ball, it's kind of like brother said in the clip. A lot of women are looking at capacity, but completely neglecting characteristics. They're looking at what he's able to do, but they're not looking at who he is. And us as men know that. Us as men know that if we can just dangle something shiny in front of you for a minute, or take you on a trip, or present ourselves on social media that we want a certain thing, we already know that you coming over and we can smash on day one and be done if we want. That's just what the world is doing. That's just what the world is doing, man. So men have just found a way to bypass kind of bypass hypergamy. You know what I'm saying? And again, it really just comes down to a woman not looking at a man's characteristics, because this is how it typically happens, man. A woman pretty much falls head over heels just because a man is moving in a certain way, driving a certain car, living in a certain house, living in a certain city, taking certain trips, certain amount of followers. That right there alone is enough to get most women to cross that threshold to be in a man's life in any way he wants her, right? But what a lot of women aren't doing is saying, okay, you know what? Let me look at the man's software. Let me look at how he's built. Because I can come into his world and I can see a glimpse of all the shiny things. I can see what he's built, but I don't know if it's a facade or not, or I don't know if he's really about the life I want him to be about based on his characteristics, based on who he is. Very few women are doing that nowadays. And when I say based on who he is, based on if he has children, how does he treat his kids? How does he speak about people in his world? How dedicated is he to his mission, to his purpose? Most women don't care nothing about that. If you could present the shiny things, if you can make them look better in the eyes of society just because they're with you, brother, you can get whatever you want from a woman. You can get whatever you want from a woman. And I'm going to give y'all sisters some insight. A lot of women may move in a way where they say, oh, girl, these men are tricks. These men are XYZ. You have to understand, a man understands what your motive is. He might not say it. You might think you're winning because he bought you a bracelet, or he got you a whatever, or you got some social media likes because you're in his circle for a little bit. But a man knows that your days are numbered. Because a man knows that when you come through the door, in other words, if you aren't challenging my characteristics, I know why you're here. I know exactly why you're here. And you can come in and enjoy this life for a minute, but just know your days are numbered. So if a woman comes, if you're going in a man's life and you aren't challenging or questioning or curious about what makes his motor work, it's just a matter of time before you're on TikTok singing a sad song. You know what I'm saying? So the major problem is women are looking at the stat sheet and not looking at the actual player. Even the NFL knows that. NFL doesn't care if you win the Heisman Trophy. They want to bring you in a room and talk to you. Every NFL player, I don't care if it's the number one pick, those teams want to sit in front of you and say, hey, you know what? Tell me about your childhood. Tell me about what makes you tick. Because the stats say one thing, but I understand if I really want to know what I'm getting, like if I'm trying to bring you on as a franchise player, I got to see what makes you run. I got to see what system you're operating off of. When my son was in middle school, man, playing football, they had this player on their team, man. Good, bro. This cat was solid. You know what I'm saying? Touchdowns left and right, interceptions, big tackles. He was just like that guy. He was him, right? And if you were to look at him on paper, you know, or if you were to look at, like, you know, just to kind of translate it, a social media profile of this guy, you'd be like, dang, like that's him. I want him to be on my team, right? I want to be entangled with him because his stats look good. But if you ever attended a game, I'm gonna tell you the first thing I noticed about this kid. His mindset was off. His demeanor was off. His emotional intelligence was out of whack. If this cat got mad at a coach, man, he's screaming at coaches. Middle school. He's throwing tantrums. He's throwing his football helmet all over the place. He's leaving the sideline, walking around the track because he's mad. He was unstable. So since he was the leader of the team and he was unstable, even though he was could be a future NFL player, right? The team was like 1-12 that season. They had 2 losing seasons. It's like if you're the leader and these are your characteristics, then there can be no victory. So what a lot of ladies are doing, they're looking at the stat sheet saying, you know what? I already know how I'm gonna look on the ground when I get with this guy. I already know how mom and dad and them gonna look at me because I bring this guy around. Not knowing that, mom and daddy not knowing that when y'all go back to the house, he's smacking you upside the head. You know what I'm saying? He taking your car and leave it out of gas. He's talking to other women. You know what I'm saying? He's not even doing the bare minimum like taking the trash out. Right? But on paper, he looks good. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of women are getting ran through, right? Now I'll say this, like, because I ponder on this. I say, if this is the way the modern woman is moving and she's getting this result, then who's to blame? Like if we could look at our mamas and our grandmama names and they didn't have that same result, like do we blame it on society? Do we blame it on society? And I can say there are things that have played out in society that will play a role. You know, just the evolution of man and women together, you know, the way we move on professional. I can see how a lot of that plays a role. I can see how what's put on television, you know, plays a role. I can see how things that are put on social media plays a role, plays a significant role. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. If I had to pinpoint one thing that I think is the deciding factor on why modern women are getting ran through, I would say it's because of the men in their lives. Let me say it like this. I would say it's because the father or the lack of a father or not having an upright father in their lives. And I pondered on this. A woman that doesn't have a proper male example. I don't care if it's an uncle. I don't care if it's a grandfather in her life. She's gonna have a completely different experience than a woman that has. She's gonna have a completely different experience than a woman that had a father in her life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll say this. Like the women in my life. And when I say the women in my life, I'm talking about like my family man. I'm talking about like my sisters, my cousins, my nieces. They don't have the problem. I can specifically speak to my sister, right? Because I grew up with my sister, right? The things that women experience nowadays, the things that women talk about, the angle that they see the world, like my sister really has no idea. Like she really can't identify with the way modern women see the world or what they go through with men. And I know that's a thing strictly because my father implemented certain things in her. And I saw that. Even though my father passed away at a young age when she was probably, 16, 17, he had already instilled things in her that made her live a certain way. Like when she picks a guy, of course she wants a guy that can do all these things, support, provide and status and the whole shebang, what women want by default. But she's looking at those character traits. She's saying, what makes this man a man? Because you got to understand, sisters, a lot of y'all don't understand how this man got his money. A lot of these men get that tax return come February, March, and you think he's Don Pablo. Come summertime, you played, and again, you seeing it on TikTok. You got to get with a man. You got to get with a man with characteristics about himself where you say, you know what? Even if he loses it, I know he can get it back because I can see who he is. I can see the very thing that generated it. You know, it's not just about him being a provider or making me look good on the gram or whatever. It's about the thing is this. A lot of women to be honest, a lot of women are playing the short game themselves, brothers. That's a whole nother video. Sisters, a lot of women are playing the short game themselves, which is resulting to them getting played. But it's just I see now that women just aren't like I see. And I'm only saying this, brothers, sisters, because I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been in my stage of life, man, where I could identify a woman that wanted to be in my circle strictly because of maybe where I lived, or maybe because I was on social media, or maybe because I can go on all four corners of the globe and fellowship with brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like there are certain elements with just because of what I do that will make some women want to be in my life. And if a woman wants to come in my life and doesn't question any character traits, she's automatically going in a box. She's automatically going in a box like, okay, you know, if I'm still in that smash type energy like I used to be, then that's what that is. That's not somebody you can take serious because she's not taking me serious, right? And I'll say this, man. I'm gonna give y'all sisters a bonus, right? Thanks to Rose. I'll say this: if I had a daughter, and I was telling my daughter, you know, in one sitting, what is it that you look for? You know, what you need to look for in a man to know if that man is a good selection for you, right? What I would tell my daughter is, I would say, you know what, baby girl, of course, get you a man that you're attracted to. Don't get no man that's just moving a certain way just because he's driving a certain thing or doing a certain thing or whatever. Get you a man that you're attracted to first, right? Of course, you got to have that attraction. But the first thing you need to look for is, does this man have purpose? Over everything, the man you choose, make sure he has purpose. Because if he doesn't have purpose, nothing in that relationship can go as you think it's going to go. Nothing in that relationship will go the way you think it's going to go. Because I'm going to say this, and I said it a million times before, if a man doesn't have purpose, he may not voice this, but the woman in his life is getting on his nerve 24 hours a day. Because on the deepest level, he doesn't want to pour his essence into anything except finding that purpose. You know what I'm saying? So if a man doesn't have purpose, you can't roll with him. This is what I'm telling my daughter. You can't roll with him. Also, him having purpose, you got to understand, this man will not be able to put you on a pedestal. Like if a man is putting you priority, where all of his energy is going towards texting you and massaging you when he gets home and worried about what you want to do and are you happy? That's not the man you want. Because that's going to be good for 5 or 10 minutes. But again, his hierarchy is jacked up. So the main thing y'all sisters need to look for, of course, you know, the status and all that stuff, but make sure he's plugged into that purpose. But then you want to check his character. Okay, brother, I see you plugged in, but who are you? Where are you going? What is your truth? Who are you? Where are you going? What is your truth? 95% of women you interact with, brothers, don't care about that. They have no. And a woman will know everything she needs to know when she understands that. Does this man have purpose? Who is he? Where is he going? What is his truth? That will give you the full picture of who that man is and what the next 30 years is going to look like. I promise you. So for y'all sisters that don't have a father in your life, you know what I'm saying? Or don't have, or a man has never told you, you know, the game on how to stop getting ran through. Because a lot of times, man, like I can sit here and talk about Jezebel spirits. I can sit here and talk about 95% women. A lot of times women that desire to be solid, upstanding, good women are getting ran through simply because nobody told them. Nobody told them. And if nobody told you, stick around. Subscribe to the channel. I might not be talking directly to you every video, but if you listen to the residue of what's coming out the conversation, me and the brothers in the comment section will be telling you how upright men move. I don't even see toxic men comment on my videos. I don't even see low vibrating in reverse type brothers in the comment section. And I hope they're not here. If they're here, I hope they're here to learn and say, brother, we trying to figure out how to get right. But at the end of the day, and of course there are many other factors, but that's one of the primary factors why a lot of women are getting ran through. They're getting ran through because they don't understand that hypergamy has been hacked. You know what I'm saying? Hypergamy has been hacked. You got a group of men that don't understand what it is. You got a group of men that understand what it is and understand the power that resides within your hypergamy. If you haven't watched Code to Her Chemistry, I'll leave a link in the description box to go watch Code to Her Chemistry. But then there are a lot of men that understand hypergamy, but on a subconscious level, they know how to manipulate it. They know how to manipulate it. And I can easily say I'm guilty. I've been one of those guys that I wasn't calling it that at the time, but I understood what checked boxes in a woman's life. And I knew how to check those boxes whether I took her serious or not. I'm guilty. I'm speaking to an old version of soul. So trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So that's why a lot of women are getting ran through. I hope this video helps.